Hey, bosses, thanks for joining me today. I am Liza Sivek, and this is Marketing Myths and Magic Podcast. I really, really appreciate you joining me today, and we are going to get right into it. But first, I want to ask you to please download, subscribe, and follow along with this podcast. We've got lots of great information, and I would love to see you here every week. And without further ado, let's get into this episode. Hey, bosses, thanks for joining me today on Marketing Myths and Magic. I am Liza Sivek, long I, short I, Liza Sivek. And I have for guests today to talk about designing a life on your own terms and how he helps you utilize systems. My good friend, Robert LaFrance, who is not only my neighbor, my friend, my colleague, and a co-sponsor of our one of our networking groups. But he is also a Navy veteran. He helped train our submarine forces on how to escape submarines. So, who better in an emergency, man? And as a Navy brat, my dad was up in the air as a pilot. He was under the water, but I really appreciate our military. I very much appreciate our veterans. So I'm very happy to have him here to talk about what he does. He's got a background in real estate. He's a property owner. He offers a suite of services that he's going to talk about today. He skydives. He does TikTok videos. I mean, you name it. This guy's got a finger in that pie. So, Robert, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me in that wonderful introduction. I was like, wow, this guy does a lot.
I'm really tired just thinking about it after doing that introduction, honestly.
It's okay if you need to take a breath before we continue on.
Yeah, let's do that. What's that breathing exercise you do? Okay. All right. Wim Hof, which sounds like you're breathing. Wim out right there. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now that everybody's taken a deep breath, we're going to jump right in. So first of all, tell me, how did you start as an entrepreneur?
Okay. So I started as an entrepreneur by getting out of the Navy. I was a diver for 7 years. And although I had a lot of fun, I have a lot of great stories. It wasn't something that I wanted to keep doing for another 13 years. So what are you going to do? You move on. So I made moves. I transitioned out. And then I was going to school for a while. I got my BS in workforce education development. And I got into real estate. I feel like real estate is the first place that a lot of newer entrepreneurs go because of just how you hear about the freedom and flexibility, the marketing, and the uncapped commissions. And so as I got into real estate, I was like, okay, cool. This is something that everybody needs. It's going to be appreciating. It's just something that you buy and sell property. And then I just got really in it. I learned a lot of real estate investors, the people who pay cash for homes and help vacant or distressed sellers. There's ways to help them because be honest with you, not a lot of time can you, if you don't have enough equity in a property and you need to sell the property because something's happening right now, what do? There's things that you can do where you don't have to pay the $30,000 out of pocket at closing if you don't have it or something, or you don't have to take the hit on your credit. So that's as I got into real estate as a licensed agent, I started, real estate, the industry of real estate is probably the highly most marketed industry you've ever seen. As an agent, I received so much marketing emails to help me make my business better. It's overwhelming. So, but yeah, I digress. Real estate, the usage of it, how it helped me through all of my life's challenges. And it's one way to make a living with passive income. And that's why we talk about using systems to design a life that you want to live. How do you want to live your week? Do you want to live your week spending more hours on or in your job or business, or would you rather spend more hours on or in your industry of choice? So I like to be with family and skydiving. So how do I make my time work for me in between those areas? And real estate investing has always been around, and it's a really great place to be.
So you're telling me that you're either underwater or jumping out of planes when you're not working,
or running in fires too.
All right, that's right. You're just certified as a volunteer fireman, right? Firefighter, excuse me, firefighter.
Yes. Yeah. Interior firefighter. It is really, really cool. It is really, really cool stuff. transferable skill from diving to firefighting, going from underwater and like having the headlights on your helmet and like looking at the water and the silt and the current moving around in the water, and then going into like a smoky environment or around a smoky environment and like seeing the same thing but with smoke and like energy moving. It is the most interesting and craziest thing. And like, yes, it's unfortunate that property and like sometimes people get hurt in these instances, but it like to be in these two different environments, it's really interesting to know. There's a love in the community for sure of like of seeing and being around that, and then like also extinguishing it.
So you're also getting to serve your community,
Oh
and
my gosh.
just because you are a server, I would think you were definitely a server. Also, I'm beginning to think you might be an
Definitely.
adrenaline junkie. Are you an adrenaline junkie? You could admit it. Go
It
ahead.
turns out, I mean, by definition, I probably would be, by definition, for sure. And I was just talking with a friend about this earlier, like today or yesterday, about like, considering all the things that I do in my life, like statistically, I might be at more risk than an accident than like the typical person. So I wonder at some point if I should reduce some of these statistics.
If Robert's insurance agent is listening today, that is not the Robert LaFrance you know. It's a completely different guy. So, okay. So, getting into your marketing, you obviously are a guy who's willing to, run into a fire, jump into the water, and jump out of a plane. So, with systems, you're also planning and making an outline and thinking ahead. We've talked about this amongst ourselves as far as planning our marketing and our videos and our podcasts. You can't just be impulsive, and you can't just be impulsive and fight a fire, and you can't just be impulsive and jump out of a plane, and you can't just be impulsive and escape from a submarine, because those things would be dangerous, correct?
Yeah.
So that would be something that, from our conversations, I know that you also incorporate the safety and the planning. And then it's great to have, some improv. It's great to know that you can think on your feet. But systems are important. Systems are what get you through your day and keep you from having a lot of wasted hours that you can save for your family and for your for you, for adrenaline junkie time. For me, it'd be naps, but let's not talk about that. So, all right. So tell me about, you're very present in your marketing. You show up, you talk a lot about what's important to you in life, just like you are now, and you're high energy. So, what's your thought process when you're planning this kind of video or your podcast?
So very like the first and the most important thing I try to remember is that like coming from a place of service and and like high energy, but not to be high energy, but like this is a thing that I'm passionate about. Like whatever I'm talking about, I have to have like something a part of it. Like the idea is learn on my podcast, the LaFrance Paradigm, we talk about learning and sharing strategies for an impact. Training is so important in everything that we do. Like you were talking about some of the things that I do, like training is so important and incredibly important in these high risk or dangerous scenarios where if something bad happens, something really bad happens, and it happens bad really quick. So like whether we're talking about a career or this like scenario of high danger, you have to know how to pivot with the times. And in marketing, we're always learning about, like identifying what your target audience is looking for. And so how can you better deliver to them? And but I always have to stay true to myself every single time. And so personal development, real estate, marketing, sales, the strategy, and like implementing systems that have them auto generating and running while you sleep, waking up to deposits, and then so you can do what you want, not having to work 80 hours a week unless it's something that you're like plugged in on, like Steve Jobs kind of stuff, but like the 40-40 a lot, right now, especially with COVID this last year and everybody having to pivot, including myself. I had to pivot between a move from Virginia Beach up to Connecticut. And so, what are you going to do when stuff like that happens? And as much as I'm in the marketing, training, personal development space, and the data that I'm getting about the demand out there about what the knowledge industry is going to be like by 2024, 25, like $500 billion, it's astronomical. And then also with real estate, there is a huge demand in training in real estate. And so like when you teach these strategies, you build a team, and then like you change lives in the communities, because when the way that we do it is you are investing locally in your community. People like you are my bank. And then I am improving the vacant homes in our neighborhood. And then I'm like the carpenters and electricians and then the families. And then they come in and it's a huge, bigger thing. And sometimes it is just like, oh yeah, I rehab homes. And then people just do that. But then sometimes if you were to peel back some layers and really look at what you're doing, it's cool. Very community focused.
When you talk about this, I hear you saying service, I hear you saying community. That's very important to me. As you know, I'm a big volunteer. I'm, involved in land trusts and other things. And
Land
I,
trust.
yes, land trusts. And those are the people who don't want you to build any houses, but we still need people to move in and enjoy the land trust. So we do want houses built. So we have a similar idea, I think, and you tell me if I'm correct, in that it's great to say we're going to add value. It's great to say that we're serving our target audience. It's great to say we're marketing, but really, if you're doing it authentically, if you'll excuse the overused word these days, if we're doing it authentically, it's really serving our audience, serving our clients, serving our community that adds the value. If we're just doing it because, in my view, if we're just doing it because it's the right thing to say or it's the trendy thing to put on your Instagram, it's not going to come across genuine. It's not going to come across like you actually care about your audience. So I think that's something that you and I have in common. And a lot of the people I work closely with have in common because we are authentic. We are genuine. We really do care about what we're offering our customer. And when I wasn't an entrepreneur, when I wasn't my own business owner, I made sure I sounded like I cared about the message in the companies I worked for, but we can all go back in our career and say, this one, we loved doing that. And this one we didn't because it didn't feel right, either for us or because we knew the company didn't really stand behind their message. So having that plan and serving the community and deciding what you care about, incorporating that into your marketing is something that I highly suggest and recommend to people. And I think you're already doing that. So well, you're welcome. So this is where the energy comes from. You're a younger guy, younger than me anyway. You're a younger guy, and you've got a lot of talents. You've got a lot of great things in your background. You know what you want to do. You're very motivated. But what I really want to know is, where did the idea for one-on-one with Robert in a onesie come from? That's what I really want to know.
Oh yeah, I'll be happy to tell you that. So, going back to what I was saying about being true to myself and always being myself. So when I first got into real estate, there's so much marketing, and then, like I said, personal and professional development that I like dove deep in that. I just with all the feedback I had received about my character growing up, I was just like, let's take a really good look at myself in the mirror here. And I really did. And then I became like a young professional, new real estate agent, and then some people would just be like, hey, just remember, be yourself. We just want to see the real Bobby, we just want to see the real Bobby. And then so I was like, okay, cool. And then so that kind of brings me back to what we were talking about a moment ago with the marketing and how the branding is really important. It like makes me feel a certain kind of way looking at some profiles and they're just like text and it's just like over and over and over. And it's like, no, it's not character. And it's like, but it's like 50,000 followers and that the sales funnel's there and they're making business. And I'm like, excuse me, like following like the training that I've had. It's like, it's all about your personal brand, be known for something, create a service, be of service, especially like in all the industries like real estate and coaching. Then so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna use the analytical strategies. I'm gonna share and repost content that are relative to leadership and, first responders and military and like the different categories that I like to work in and be a part of. Cause it's hard for me to just be one person. I think I just can't do that. I don't think, there's so many different aspects to me. So that's what I took from all my social media marketing. And then so over a period of time of being like this really professional, and then also being like the neighbor that they want you to be in real estate, like, this is me, this is who I am. I dress comfortably, I'm outdoors, I like to have a good time. And I think keeping the onesie, the fact that it's a tie-dye makes it like everybody be like, what is this guy wearing a onesie that's tie-dye? It's so bright, and I feel like it just instantly brings it down to the same level. Because
hold on. We have to clarify that this onesie is a big fleece footy pajama with a hood. Let's just not think that we got the wrong audience going on here. Okay, continue.
Yeah, no, this It's by Forever Lazy. If you check out my Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, you'll see it. The hashtag's like the number one W. I don't know. It's a long hashtag, but if you just go to my Instagram, look for the Vibrant, you'll see it. TikTok as well.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, yeah. So, because I like cut the acronym to make it work, so it was like easier to type. But so I started doing it because every morning I was telling myself affirmations, and then like I was remembering ET, the hip hop preacher, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be up live on my profiles at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So when you are up, before you're up, I am there right there in the morning." And like I kind of respect that. So I was like, I'm gonna do this for me when I wake up, and I'm just gonna document it and put it out there, and then people might like that and appreciate that, and I could build a following, as far as marketing goes, because now I'm building this community that are interested in the same thing, so we can provide a service and like really build together. I really think it is so exciting when I'm working with new business owners that they're like, oh wait, if we partner together, like we can actually accomplish what we're trying to do. And it's like, yes, you don't have to be so busy being busy trying to like find business. You can actually like complete business.
And that's exactly right. You don't want to be busy just for the purpose of being busy. You have to have some kind of system. And I have a business coach, Jamila Payne, that I work with in a group, and adore her systems. You have really good systems for real estate people and people who are going to be buying properties, and just good ideas about how to stay organized and how to be motivated. And I like that you show part of your personal life. I have great good intentions to get up in the morning and do a little coffee and conversation in the morning, but the dogs, the people, the kids, no, not kids. I don't have any kids at home, but somebody has kids somewhere I probably have to worry about. So, but the dogs and the people, and my husband's getting out the door, and taking care of everything else I got to take care of in the morning. So, yeah, I would really like to be able to get up in the morning and do coffee items. And that was horrible. We're going to take that out. Okay. So I don't know where I said with the people and the kids. I'm thinking about other people. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Start again. Record scratch. Okay. So I would also like to do something like that, where I get up in the morning with my cup of coffee and I talk for a few minutes with people live. But it's hard for me to get up early enough to, my husband gets out the door early, but I got to get the dogs out, and I've got to, check my email, because I'm compulsive about checking my email. I shouldn't be first thing in the morning. Do I need to know at 6 a.m. or can I know at 7 a.m.? And, that's the busy just to be busy and being plugged in all the time. So you're giving me some motivation. You heard it here first, guys. I'm going to try to do a coffee conversation in the morning.
So, take care of yourself first, Liza. That's one thing that I'm doing so much more, is really just focusing on taking care of myself, my body, my mind, my body. Like I don't want to be overworked. I don't want to be living with anxiety. I don't want to be like, I understand that there's times to be in sixth gear. Like, and then I also understand that I know with time that I will get these results. So like, I just don't want to be getting any anxiety from like stuff. But some people say like, hey, choke on greatness, then swallow mediocrity. I'm like, okay, well maybe let me breathe for a minute. Like,
I have a social media post that says, don't work until you're tired, work until you're done. And I changed it. I said, work till you're tired, take a break, then get back to it, then work till you're done. Because if you work until it's done, you're going to crash and burn. And you don't get results from crashing and burning. You get half-assed results, you get partial results, you get things that don't get finished. I don't care how good you are. If you think you've got to work right through, it's not going to happen. And for me, marketing is a time-consuming industry. I love doing it, which is why I have a job, but it's a time-consuming industry. Running a business is a time-consuming thing. So you do have to, block out times, prioritize, and have systems. Absolutely. So go ahead.
What you also have to learn is how to, instead of trading your time for money, trading your expertise for money, looking at it that way.
Yes.
And then that's going to help you make your hours work for you, because and
that's something that takes a long time to learn when you're first starting out, doesn't it?
Right. And so this is what I like to say, because right now, residual and passive income, like people are like in the money making space, It's like, how do I get passive and residual income? And that's where like real estate investing, people want rental properties, multifamily, commercial, and stuff like that. Because I mean, even though it's not really passive, there's energy to acquire that asset. You have to make repairs, like, but it's, but like even retirement, someone is working towards this amount of money of which they can enjoy at some point later in life. So if by my military service, I receive residual income in the form of, disability, and now like I have rentals, and then they got rental inflow coming in, and then I got my real estate business. If I got my various streams of income, especially when you hit to a certain point, like if you become an influencer online with YouTube, like YouTube pays you for marketing. And then if you have courses and you get to this point where you have like, little communities and products and clothes, then it's like where that's how can you wake up to deposit so you can spend the time with your family, so you can go snowmobiling or read books or do tie-dye with your kids, whatever you want.
Now we've talked a lot about motivation, reaching for your goals, and how everything works into that for you. What do you hope your audience, and you've sort of answered this, but what do you hope your audience takes away from your videos when you do the one-on-one or anything else that you're talking about? It doesn't matter if it's breathing exercises or this is how to, get into real estate. What are you hoping the audience takes away from you and in what you're trying to express to them? Number one thing.
I'm inspiring them to take action to move forward, to accomplish their goals, and work with me if we can do so. Because that's the whole thing, is building and connecting it with the community to help where you want to go. And if like you really want to see a change in the world, and like you see how, like, yes, you could be in real estate because you love architecture, you love landscaping, you love building, you like to work with your hands. But you could also see it as just like a money making machine that you could build and systematize all online, so you can just have someone answer a phone for you and let you know when your checks are ready to get picked up. Like there's so many different ways and areas of so many different industries that, like, first of all, get inspired and go start it. A lot of businesses start the same way. I've started a few businesses, and I've learned the resources to do it, whether you're in Florida, Virginia, Connecticut. So like that's why I have a suite of I have a real estate and legal network, pretty much. And so I can help you start and launch, and then we can work together. And it's just exciting. Like, what are your goals, and what are the things that are going to help me do? What are the things I have to do to help me get there? Okay, let's look at the things that meet this criteria and how that changes things. So it's like taking action, being a leader. People are looking up to you in some way, shape, or form, waiting to see you do it. And that's why I say, like, that at the end of my videos, if I remember, it's, they say that the rising tide lifts all ships and courage is contagious. So help me, help you, help your friends. Like it's almost like when you're in a room and you feel the energy, or it's good or bad. Do I want to stay in this room? It feels good, or like, there's a weird feel in this room, I'm going to leave. It's like the same thing. So it's just exciting. And then I do it the way that I do it, Yeah. So, like I said, because I do it the way that I do it, and I feel like, I can use these vehicles as a way to build my life and enjoy my life on my terms and values, then I'm going to do that. And if I can show you how to do it, I'm all about it. Because like I said, right now, college is a business in itself. It's an industry of itself. I found college valuable. I respect somebody else who's gone to college because I've also done it, so like, but there's so much more out there. Like you can do hands-on, you can pay for courses that are teaching you right now. I think everybody should create their online brand anyway. I think a lot of people should be 1099s, their own independent contractor at everywhere, because how is that going to change the culture and the community of every business, the standards of every business, the expectations, and then if you're like able to take care of yourself. Yeah. So
I mean, you're talking about the gig economy, which has its own threats right now to it, politically and tax wise, et cetera, et cetera. But you're talking about the gig economy, and the gig, not to get into that, but that's something we're all aware of. We're all aware of the changing, shifting sands underneath our feet as freelancers and business owners right now. We always have to be, always, and it ebbs and flows. So I think that it's very important for entrepreneurs to stand up, be counted, and do what they want to do, because you touched on this, and I've said this many times to people. I can be doing what I'm doing, you can be doing what you're doing, and there could be other people in our industries and our niche, but people will connect with our personality or maybe not and go with somebody else. There's room for everyone as long as you're doing good work, as long as you're communicating with your audience, as long as you're being true about what you do and what you can offer. There's room for everybody to make money. There's no limit to that. But we all want to be the best we can be. I'm always competing against myself every day. I just want to, incrementally get a little better. And just like everyone in the world, motivation ebbs and flows, energy ebbs and flows. And, if you just watch Robert one-on-one with Onesie, you'll be very motivated in the morning. So, he'll start you off with a woo. So I'll have him do that later. It's loud. You have to give it a second. But we definitely have that same feeling. And I think that having people know what they want from their business and know who they want to connect to is so important. But you can know all that. And if you don't market it correctly, it's not going to mean anything. If you want to be the person who just sets it all up and gets a bunch of passive income and does all the hard work up front and then has their contractor or their admin tell them, here comes the check this month, awesome. You still got to do the work. You still got to put the work into it. You still got to check in. But you're not going to do any of that unless you market yourself correctly. So, whether you use someone like myself who can be your own virtual marketing department and, let that admin know that all the marketing is going smoothly and here comes all your leads, or if you're trying to do it on your own as a DIY, or you already know how to, it's important. You have to do it. You absolutely have to do it. And I think you're doing a good job of getting your personality out there, and being exuberant, being motivated, but also being truthful. We can't all be really happy every day, but at least we can show up as much as we can. We can show up and be in our branding and smile. And, we're all on equal footing as far as we're all humans, right? So we all got to find that motivation somewhere. So what would you, go ahead.
And that's it, because I'm really, I try to do that because I'm really good at being really hard on myself. Like, I don't know if it's because of like either childhood trauma or military experience or just me being me, but like I'm really good at that. So it's really important for me to do exactly what you were just saying. Just
right. We all have our yeah, what I said. That's right. See what Robert says, what I said. I'm putting that review on my website. He says, do what Liza says. Okay. So you've told me what you hope people take away from your videos. And I think I know what you want to add to the world with your particular brand. And that's, lifting people up, encouraging people, and, giving them the ways and the tools to do that while also doing it for yourself. So you've combined both doing it for yourself and helping other people do that. What's next for you? What's your next step? What's your next expansion somewhere down the road?
So I am focusing more on on skydiving. Like, as this season transitions into nice weather, I'm going to be giving skydiving more of my attention. Still investing in real estate and doing the online motivational coaching stuff. Focusing on events. I got a lot going on this year, but definitely skydiving, family, and investing in real estate.
All right, very cool. So jumping out of planes is just basically the theme we're taking away from this, metaphorically and literally, right?
It's so awesome to fly, like if you want to enjoy life, like it's not, you were so about to like, it's not about the adrenaline for me. Like, adrenaline does happen, but like it is about jumping out of a plane with like a group of people, and like how you maneuver your body in the air is how your position changes, and you're essentially falling with style, like Buzz Lightyear in the air, looking really cool, doing really cool stuff, like the cool skateboarder guys when you were 12, when I was a 12, 13-year-old boy watching skate videos. I want to do that. And that's what people love on Instagram too. Like I see on my marketing, I get good analytical data for family, skydiving, and like that, my interests, like my genuine interests, not like, remember, I'm here to help you buy a real estate deal, like, or if I'm always talking about interest rates. Like I look at real estate as something that I enjoy in various ways, but having a podcast specifically talking about VA loans and keeping it only about financial fiduciary duties in a non-fun way, I want to be laughing and telling funny stories with people who, either live in a van down by the river or, have $32 million in real estate, something crazy, and talking about stories about fun and how life can be lived, because there's nothing worse than being miserable or, having someone that you care about be miserable when there's so much opportunity around us, especially right now.
Exactly. I totally agree. You don't want anybody to be miserable. I don't want any of my clients to be miserable. I'm constantly saying, hey, where can we improve? What can we do? I know I don't, have a contract with you for such and such, but can I give you some tips about that part of your company that will help with the marketing? I just want everybody around me to succeed as much as I do. And that sounds very self-congratulatory, and it's not. It's because when other people are happy, I'm happy. And if I'm happy, then I'm successful. I also like money. I also like money to be paid during that time, but I also like to be happy and successful. So these are really great things. I'm so glad you came on here to talk about this with me. So we're going to have the show notes about where to find you, but tell us how to find you. You got TikTok, and what else?
So my handle for pretty much everything is LaFrance Life, LaFrance Life, LIFE. And you can find me on TikTok, Instagram. You can Google me, Robert LaFrance, RobertLaFranceRealestate.com. And that's it. That's essentially where you can find me, in the LaFrance Paradigm podcast on all of your podcast streaming platforms, accepting guests.
Well, we do have a deal that I have to come on one of your videos in a corgi fleece onesie, right? So yeah, that's the deal.
Fun.
Yes.
I can't wait till you see the sign that I'm getting. Nicole got me this bad ass sign, Liza. It's like 48 inches by 48 inches, and it's my logo and it's got a cutout of glasses. It's so sick.
That's very cool. I can't wait to see that. Nicole, his wife, is also going to be one of our podcast guests. By the way, I'm actually going to be recording with her later today. I'm so excited.
Catch. Y'all are going to love her.
Yes, we love Nicole. We like you. You're all right. I'll take you because I got Nicole in my life. So, stuck with both of you now. Whole package. No, that's awesome. All right. So thank you so much again. And we will see you around TikTok. I will see you tomorrow morning in that fleece onesie. And I'll be sitting there with my coffee, checking my emails at 6 a.m. saying, I said I wasn't going to do this. All right. Thanks so much. And we're out.
You've been listening to Marketing Myths and Magic, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find us at exvadio.com/podcasts, as well as the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts.